Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So we have the global celebration part 2 info. You know what is funny about this? I was thinking about this. I feel like part 2s for celebrations often is more of a global thing, right? Like, I know that sounds weird. And when I'm saying this, discount sort of like the major celebrations, right? Like anniversaries and worldwide download celebrations do usually have a stated part 2, but I feel like typically for JP, like, so for example, the Kale celebration and then this stuff, like, there's not like, oh, part 2 is here, right? For this global celebration, it does say here's part 2, but I feel like it's actually rare, it's uncommon for like JP to actually announce one of these celebrations as part 2, because I remember I was watching global YouTubers videos on it was going over the Yamcha celebration for JP, and then they're like, now here's what part 2 was, and I was like, well, wait a minute, there was no part 2 to the Yamcha celebration. That was a different celebration entirely, the Christmas celebration, which had Carnival Goku and some other things in it. So I do feel like this idea of part 2s on all these celebrations throughout the year is more of a global thing than JP. I mean, and if we think about it that way, we could almost look at this stupid Kale celebration where the first half is Kale, and then the second half they're like, yeah, we're just doing Boo and Gotenks. It's like, okay, sure, yeah, the Boo and Gotenks, part 2, right? So let's jump in. Now, we got the answer to a question a lot of people have been wondering. I've seen this talked about non-stop for months about, oh, there's this empty spot, like for global after Yamcha. There's a whole month until Golden Week. What are they going to drop? Now, I've thought all along it would be this, exactly this type of thing. Just some filler legendary summon banner. I feel like if you've been around long enough, we've seen this happen a million, trillion, zillion times. Because especially too, this wasn't really like some huge dead spot that opened up in global schedule. It was just more so that they just moved 2 banners. They just swapped them, right? They took the typical New Year's banner for global, which I guess, so if global had not gotten Orange Piccolo and Beast Gohan at the same time, they would have gotten Yamcha, at the start of January or whatever is what we could say from this. And then they basically just swapped the normal Dual Dokkan Fest time for global. The New Year's one is here in April, and they just swapped the two. So it's like, it does open up a little bit of time, because typically they let Dual Dokkan Fest breathe for quite a while, right? Like, they have the 2 banners sit there for several weeks before something else would show up. Usually the one exception, well, I guess there's 2 exceptions, is Anniversary and Worldwide Download Celebration. They'll kind of bring it in early, I guess. But like Golden Week will be a Dual Dokkan Fest in 2 weeks, and then there'll be a Yellow Coin LR, but that Yellow Coin LR is probably not until like deep down here, so it's gonna be several weeks, right? So this is the banner that Global got, right? I did think that there was at least a chance of a global first LR. I don't want to say that there was a 0% chance of that. Felt like it could have happened. The last global first unit we got was LR STR UI Goku, who global got in May, and then I believe JP got him in June. LR UI Goku. And what's funny is, he was, I would say, probably the best global first ever. I mean, unless we're going to count same time characters, but that LR STR UI Goku, I mean, he was definitely the best unit in the game when he came out, right? And he was a global, like a true global first for a good month, but they pretty much at this point have moved away from global firsts. They don't really do global first now. They just do global at the same time. Is really what has been happening, right? So I even really need to tell you guys not to summon on? Look at this. Like, if you summon on this, you can't be saved. You can't. Like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I'm sorry. The best unit on this banner is SCR Piccolo. It's not even the LRs. It's this guy. This is the best unit on the banner here. None of these 3 LRs are outstanding, right? Kaioken Goku is probably the best. Probably. This unit is solid, but like, there's so many hoops and stuff you're jumping through to get the Makanken Sampo. you do that, and then the character pretty much sucks unless you're getting good luck. Because Piccolo, this is like the truest glass cannon we've gotten in like the last couple of years, right? Once you use a Makankan Sampo, once their guard wears off at the start of the fight, this unit has no defense whatsoever, right? And it's just like, if you can hide him, he could do damage for you, but I mean, there's way better units you could use than this character for sure, right? That's not just a huge like RNG bonanza, right? This unit, of course, is just aged. I mean, they're 2 years old now. It's pointless. Like, this is just not. Don't summon on this. I really shouldn't even need to say that. Really, just don't summon. The Broly Dragon Ball story is showing up. Where you can grind up this Trunks and Goten. They're okay free-to-play characters. I would call them okay. One thing I would say that's very sort of encouraging with them is that these are not EZA characters, right? So what that means is they could be better in the future. Like it's not like, okay, like we got our, the units got their awakenings and they got their EZAs at the same time. That's always the worst when that happens, but that's not happening here. So that's a huge W right there. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so we have Super Battle Road stages and Extreme Super Battle Road stages coming. That's fine. I would say, and I think most would agree too, that it certainly did feel better when they would release these, every 8 months we'd get a big batch of 10 stages. Felt better than just sort of like one stage being added with these celebrations. One thing I will say is that the rewards, of course, are just so good for Super Battle Road, right? Now, at this point, if you do that, you clear the 10 stages, you're able to get the support memory. There's the permanent buffing Goku family support memory and the permanent buffing Vegeta family support memory, right? Like, those are really good. You get the really good equips and stuff like that from Extreme Super Battle Road, so it's a lot of W's there. Bunch of story events coming back. These Dokkan events are coming back. I guess this is, so you can get the medals for the units on the banner. It is crazy. I think in terms of Dokkan event medals, this Goku right here is used the most. I actually want to pull this up because we've now gotten to a point where it's so insane how many characters use this medal, like how many different forms. It has to be the most. Let's just pull up like this unit right here, and then we should be able to click on the Goku medal right there. Yep. Okay. So here's all the characters that awaken from this medal. Just so many LRs. Tech Carnival Goku, AGL Carnival Goku, Int Carnival Gohan, LR Goku and Piccolo, the Int one, the Physical Goku and Piccolo, Goku and Frieza, STR Full Power Frieza. Like, it's just so many characters need this medal. It's just so crazy. It's so crazy how many characters need this medal compared to many other Dokkan event medals. All right, so the Bulma event is coming, but it's not revamp. It's not getting the revamp yet. Yeah, this is something that me and many others missed, is that in the Kale Celebration info, it did directly say like it was getting revamped. Here, though, it's not. So it looks like Global's not going to get that Bulma event revamp for this World Tournament. It probably would be the next one, just like JP, right? And then Global is getting the failed Gotenks fusions. These guys suck, right? Like, they're not, we're not sugarcoating it. These guys are not really impressive whatsoever. They are on some teams that it's good to get more help on, of course. Fusion, Heavenly Events, Youth, Special Pose, right? So, like, I usually will at least appreciate any options at all for those types of teams. You never know when this could help players for a burst mode or something like that, for sure, but certainly I would say that these failure Gotenks units were not made good enough. There's no way, right? Like, I mean, physical Gotenks here, he needs physical key spheres, and guess what he doesn't do? He doesn't create physical key spheres. So, yeah, have fun with a free-to-play unit that needs orbs that he doesn't create. That's great. All right, so we have that. Oh, this is coming to Global. Okay. So, I believe this was like, I did a short on this. I almost maybe would like to pull up, but you were able to do like daily missions, and then it gave you some tickets for New Year's that you could then do some pulls on this and get some items and stuff like that. Monster carrots and, platinum turtle shells, Kai's, stuff like that. Yeah, this, I definitely did do a short on that. So that's cool. Okay, that's something else that's coming. Then the 44th World Tournament is coming to global. Now this is a big one, because this was the most competitive World Tournament in JP history, because now characters can be EZA'd. LR Piccolo with his EZA, he is the best free-to-play units in the game, I would say. After his EZA, we have several characters coming in, and that's basically it for the celebration info, right? There's Patan in here, but it's just like missions and mostly not extra stuff, right? So whatever. All right, so we looked at the celebration info. That's basically it. Let's talk about some of these characters. So again, this Piccolo is the best free-to-play unit in the game. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that on JP, this guy came out along with Anniversary and LR Int Kid Gohan. Int LR Kid Gohan is not out yet on global, and it's not going to be out for almost 4 months. I mean, it's like 3.5 months is when Int LR Kid Gohan releases, right? He's going to release on like July. It's in this range, right? Like July. I'm just curious. Let's take a look. Let me just pull up like a couple of these. So part 2 last year was Great Ape Vegeta. So let me just pull up like Great Ape Vegeta. Let me pull up Int Rose, and then let me pull up Golden Frieza and 17. So let's see what day. So July 26th. July 26th. And then Rose is July 27th. Okay, so we know. It's going to be like July 26th, July 27th, in this range. Well, but right around here is when Int LR Kid Gohan is going to come out. Now, that is where this guy's full potential gets unlocked, because everything Kid Gohan wants to do, he can do linked up with this Piccolo, and everything this Piccolo wants to do, he could do linked up with Kid Gohan, right? Like, they are actually perfect partners next to each other, and they are intended to be run directly together, right? Kid Gohan and this Piccolo. So that is something to really, really keep in mind with these characters, right? To sort of like use them together. I do think that this Piccolo is really good, right? Like, I don't think he's overrated, because I mean, I really like this. So he has to go in slot 1 and he can guard. And he is supporting the rotation for 2 key and 40% defense. That's pretty helpful. He shares several links with Int LR Kid Gohan, and again, he's going to be guarding. This is a very solid free-to-play EZA, right? Like, if they're going to give us EZAs of this level for free-to-play characters, I'd say it's very good. Then we have several other. So 3 World Tournament reward cards EZA. I believe this is the first World Tournament reward card on JP. I think Bardock was 2 and Gohan was 3, I think. This Super Saiyan Goku's not really that impressive. I don't know why a lot of his support was locked behind Legendary Existence. It doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. This guy's like okay-ish. I guess he is on a lot of categories. Perhaps this guy could be good for like a burst mode or something like that at some point in the future, because he's just on so many categories, right? Like, he does have some built-in baseline support. So I could see this guy being very helpful for a burst mode, but like that's pretty much what this guy is. AGL Bardock, I would say, is probably a little bit more decent, but it is unfortunate that his support is AGL and STR still restricted. But if you got like some AGL and STR characters that are getting that support, this guy is like okay. Like, he's kind of like a worse version of the Dokkan Fest Bardock, I guess, except he doesn't have the Scouter. I know people have been very heavily negative on that Tech DBZ Bardock, but I mean, again, his value essentially is the Scouter, right? Like, that's the main draw you're getting from running that DBZ Bardock. I mean, this guy's a free-to-play character. He is on some weaker teams, like Storied Figures and stuff like that. He's on Team Bardock, so maybe you could, rock him there. I think Bardock he's okay-ish. And then there's Tech Gohan. I think this Gohan is really good. He supports 3 typings for 50%, AGL, Tech, and Physical. He does stack defense as well. He does need to sit in slot 3, but he's pretty good. I think that this guy will get neutralized by a super attack, wipes him away, right? Not really too much you could do about that. But there's a lot of situations where this guy would be able to tank a lot of bosses' normals, even in like red zone stages, right? I think that this Gohan is pretty good, right? This guy is, I've used him in several red zone stages. Again, if he's going to take normals that aren't type disadvantage, he should be okay. Maybe, you know, if we're talking about like Metal Cooler Core post super attack, he could take a little bit of damage. But this is sort of like a red zone viable support, sort of. I think that this Gohan is pretty good. For a free to play character, I would say this guy is pretty good. Remember that the Bardock, Super Saiyan Goku, and this Gohan have normal summonable unit stats, despite the fact that they're free to play as well. And then also remember that this Gohan, I mean, take a look at this, right? He's on a lot. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan gets a lot of category teams. So that is really, really, really good there for Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Okay, so there's him. This Kid Goku gets an easy 8. I don't really think he's the craziest. This guy would be, like, fine, right, I think, because, again, he's on a lot of sort of, like, weaker category teams. But the problem here is that we have, like, you know, Pat the Power Kid Goku, the EZA Int Kid Goku, who is definitely solid, but Pat the Power Goku just completely, like, you know, obliterates his usability. But it's this guy is just fighting so hard. Like, it's burst mode, right? Like, it would have to be like STR World Tournament units for burst mode or something like that is where we would use this character, because he's just name blocked so hard, I think. But I don't know, you could see, I mean, he could do a lot of attacks and he could stack, but I don't really see a ton of value in this Kid Goku. And then finally there's this Goku right here. This guy is also not really that crazy, but he is on, you know, what I consider the worst category in the game, World Tournament. And it's not like there's a million other base form Gokus on there. Whereas, well, actually, wait, Kid Goku is not, yeah, I guess actually, this is where this STR Kid Goku is going to have value, is on the World Tournament category for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it like that, right, him actually helping on the World Tournament category, that's his value. Because this is the worst category in the game, is World Tournament. I don't think that there's any, like, there's no way to argue this. Like, Namekians is way better than this, right? Because you have Orange Piccolo and STR Band Unit Piccolo. World Tournament has nothing. Like, every other category has some crazy character. Peppy Gals has Chi-Lai, and at least some of the Universe 6 girls and stuff like that, right? Like, it's literally only World Tournament that is getting this level of treatment. So, I guess we could say that this Goku and the STR Kid Goku are helpful additions to the worst category in the game, right? Like, the category is actually so bad that if it gets anything at all, it's at least like a reasonable buff. So there we go. There is everything coming in this global sort of like officially part 2 celebration. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff right here. Remember, Global is going to be moving into a dual Dokkan Fest for Golden Week. And we will see what we're going to be getting in about 2 weeks' time. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.